action.
Hi, my name is Brianna Ozuna, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to create a three-way Venn diagram. So this is the problem we're going to be trying today. And this is the Venn diagram we are going to be creating together. So in the problem, to initially get everything inside of it, we learned that 148 people put ketchup on their hamburger, 119 people put mustard on their hamburger. I'll go back so you can read it along with me. 54 people put mayonnaise on their hamburger. 25 people put ketchup and mustard on their hamburger. 19 people put ketchup and mayonnaise on their burger. 15 people put mustard and mayonnaise on their burger. And 2 people put all 3 condiments on their hamburger. This is out of the recent survey done asking 300 people how many condiments they put on their hamburger. So let's go back to the Venn diagram and learn how to put all the information into it. So the first step I like to do is work kind of from the center outwards. We learn at the very bottom that 2 people put all 3 condiments on their hamburgers. And that's where I get this 2 right in here. It's all 3 of the condiments that are being put on there. The next step from there is that 15 people put mustard and mayonnaise on their burger. Right here we can see that this is the mayo and this is the mustard, and that since 2 people are already doing all 3, we have to subtract 2 from that 15 and get 13. So in this little section altogether 15 people will have mustard and mayo. So that's the reason it's 13 instead of 15. The next step is to find that 19 people put ketchup and mayo on their hamburger. So that's where ketchup and mayo come in, and we do the same step of subtracting the 2 from 19 to get this whole section being 19 together. And the last one that is a combination one is the ketchup and mustard. We learned there's 25 people that put ketchup and mustard on their hamburger, and that's where we got 23 from. So next we learned that 54 people put mayo on their hamburger. So with mayo, you learn that it has to be all sections of the whole circle. So we learned that in order for this whole entire thing to equal 54, we have to add these 3 sections together, 17 plus 13 plus 2, and then subtract that total from 54 to get 22 as our final answer, which works because it means that 54 people do put mayo on their hamburger. There just might be a combination of mayo and ketchup, mayo and mustard, or all 3. Next, we learned that 119 people put mustard on their hamburger. So mustard is this one right here. We did the same step of adding 13, 2, and 23, and then subtracting that total from the 119 people. Ketchup had 148 people that put it on their hamburger. And so we just follow the same step of adding together 17, 2, and 23, and then subtracting that total from 148 to get us 106. Now, part of the problem was a few questions, so I'm going to show you guys how I answered these. So the first question we're going to do is, how many people put ketchup and mustard on their hamburger, but not mayonnaise? So looking back on the Venn diagram here, we can see that ketchup and mustard on their hamburger. We can see that each person in this bubble uses both ketchup and mustard. So because they use the word "and," that means that we're also going to use the people that have a combination of ketchup and mustard. So in order to get the answer of 210, you add together all 3 of these, 106, 23, and 81. And so our next question was, how many people put ketchup or mustard on their hamburger, but not mayonnaise? Now, because they use the word "or," it means that it has to be that they either use specifically ketchup or specifically mustard on their hamburger. So for this, I added together 106 and 81, but left out this 23 because that wouldn't be specific. That is using both. And that's where I get my answer of 187. The next question that we had, I'll go back so you can read it along with me, is how many people put ketchup and mayonnaise on their burger but not mustard? So this is very similar to the first question that we got, except with 2 different condiments. So this means that we're doing ketchup and mayo. And because they use that word and, that means that we're going to be adding in the 17 as well. So we do 106 plus 17 plus 22 to get our final answer of 145. And then one of the final questions is, how many people put ketchup or mayonnaise on their hamburger but not mustard? Because they use that word or, that's where we're going to exclude out the 17. So because this would be using both ketchup and mayo, we're going to take it out and just add together 106 and 22. The final question is, how many people do not put any condiments on their hamburger? Now, in order to find this, you want to add every section on here right now. So you want to add together 106, 23, 81, 17, 2, 13, and 22. One thing you want to make sure that you don't do is add together right here the numbers that they give you. You want to make sure you don't add all of those together, because these are the numbers that they give you before you subtract out the different variables. You subtract out like the 2 and subtract out the 23, and you subtract everything out. So you want to make sure you add everything together after it's put in a Venn diagram. And then after you get that total, you'll subtract it from the 300 people that were surveyed in a whole. And from subtracting that, we find that 36 people did not use any condiments on any of their hamburgers. Thank you. That was my service project.